What democratic eloquence.
You asked the question, sir. Let me answer it. The genius of the Constitution is that it can always be changed. The genius of the Constitution is that it makes no permanent rule other than its faith in the wisdom of ordinary people to govern themselves.
Faith in the wisdom of the people is exactly what makes the Constitution incomplete and crude.
Crude? No, sir. Our founding parents were pompous, middle-aged white farmers, but they were also great men, because they knew one thing that all great men should know, that they didn't know everything. They knew they were going to make mistakes, but they made sure to leave a way to correct them. They didn't think of themselves as leaders. They wanted a government of citizens, not royalty. A government of listeners, not lecturers. A government that could change, not stand still. The president isn't an elected king, no matter how many bombs he can drop, because the crude Constitution doesn't trust him. He's a servant of the people. He's a bum, okay, Mr. Pitcairn? He's just a bum. And the only bliss that he's searching for is freedom and justice.
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, thank you for entertaining us again and your flight pattern for Fire Talk Radio. On your left, we've already taken off. Is a bunch of thunderclouds, and to your right is nothing but joy. We're just gonna hope that the pilot can figure out which side of the sky he wants to be on. So please keep your tray tables up, lean back, and enjoy this flight. Again, have a good time.
I can only count to four. I can only count to four. I can only count to four. I can only count to.
Hey, welcome back to Fire Talk Radio. This is flight number 18. And Ryan, I don't remember how we got into flying with this podcast.
It's all about Andy. That's an
Oh.
Andy thing. Andy
Yeah.
Andy came up with that idea and it kind of just stuck. God
It
rest
just
his
seems-
soul.
I know. Andy, we want you back because, you were a great pilot for us.
It was a great balance. It definitely was a great balance.
So,
But-
but hopefully he'll be back for some guest spots. Unfortunately, he can't make it with us every week or every time we record. Just to let you guys know, we are live on YouTube. We also put up our episodes on rumble.com for when YouTube kicks us off. Well, I know they will. It'll happen eventually. But you can go on to YouTube just live, and when we go live, you can chat with us on YouTube. And then how else can they get a hold of us?
Oh, they can actually just go to our website, firetalkradio.com. You check out our page, our contacts there. How to listen to us is there. Also, the link to our Riverside page is how we record. So you can actually join in as an audience member on our show if you wanted to. Our email address is firetalknetwork@gmail.com. And
We have a Facebook page.
we have a Facebook page, which is Fire Talk Radio. Twitter, Fire Talk Radio.
Yep.
And our
So,
phone number is 814-380-9820. You'd think eventually I'll memorize that number.
it'll take I think when I did the Creeper cast, it took me probably about a year before I had it all memorized, and then I could ramble it off at will, but until
yeah.
then, So while I get the link to our YouTube up on the Facebook right now, so that people can find us, um, what's some of the things that we're going to talk about? What's the first thing that we need right now?
Oh, so we got something going on. We got a really slam pack. So it's we got our ups and we got our downs. Mainly political wise, we're gonna talk about the town hall from Thursday. Um,
Yeah.
that because
That was
there's
such
a
a
lot.
weird. Oh my god, how weird was that?
I
I mean,
really wanted to be the butthead to his Beavis. I really did. Um,
I can't do the Beavis laugh or the butthead laugh.
yeah,
Now, um,
I like Beavis on my bunghole.
Jeff, if you're listening, it was always great when we did the creeper cast because that would be probably most of our emails was Jeff asking if he looked like butthead because when he laughed he had the butthead laugh.
um, we're gonna talk about Michael Myers and that he's a
Yes.
homosexual, or no,
This is
no, he doesn't like gays. He doesn't like the
he
gays.
yeah, he's homophobic. I'll have a lot to talk about that because don't forget I studied Michael Myers in college.
Did you
I
see the
have
new
an
Halloween yet?
extensive I haven't. No, my nephew did. He
I
actually really
watched it.
enjoyed it.
It's actually it surprised me more than I thought it would be.
Yeah.
Um, we're going to talk about how porn should be on television and when it should be on television. Um, speaking since Biden went to go see the Pope today, we're going to talk about how people want exorcisms now for COVID. Um, we're going to talk about an issue in Colorado where they're now taping masks to kids' faces.
Oh, a bitch would be dead if she taped anything to my son.
Oh, there's been some weird cases where
So
teachers have been overstepping on that.
weird things this last week because it's not just that. Then you have what is it in Georgia where they had the lap dance last week, and
No, I
then
didn't know about that one. What?
oh, I'll have to bring that one up. And there was a lap dance where the students at like a pep assembly were giving lap dances to the teachers, and then in Florida in Broward County, teachers took elementary school students to a gay bar to teach them about I don't know. It was a field trip to a gay bar.
I don't know how that's. I don't know how parents signed
Like
off for a field trip to a gay bar.
I I, I don't know. Well, okay,
I
kind of
feel
going off
that
on a
there
weird
was a lot of misdirection in telling where the kids were going on a field trip to.
so it's a I'm going off speculation because I didn't read this in an actual news report. I read this, I think, from Facebook or Twitter, where the school gave like would send out like at the beginning of the school year a massive like parental
Pile of
forms.
papers.
Well, yeah, but they'd send like a list of like all of the field trips the kids are going on and the parents can sign it once and that's their permission slip for all the field trips for the year.
Oh, so they snuck it in. Oh, that's just fucked up. Um,
So don't quote me on that because like I said, I think I saw it in a Facebook comment or a Twitter comment that said how they
yeah.
did it because someone asked that. But we'll get
If
into it.
anybody knows that's watching this and you know anything about that, gotta let us know. Gotta update us. That's something.
Right.
Um, there was there's a another thing is the giant carbon fan. I don't know how much you.
I don't know much about it, but I've heard of it before.
So it's they're testing it in Iceland. Oh, because Iceland is one of those landforms that's like perfect for stuff like this. Um, from the theory in the technology of it, that is highly impressive. That would, because they're taking the CO2 out of the air, putting it in the ground
Yeah, it's
forcefully.
Oh, they're forcing it in the ground. It's not like a
Yeah.
scrubber.
They're pushing
Okay.
it. They're
Okay.
actually pushing it a few layers down, so it has time to it brings up old life, something like that. We'll have to look
Okay.
at it again. Um,
My concern with something like that is, again, we're trying to use science to play God,
eh,
and the unintended consequences of trying to control nature. Um, Now, here's the thing: when it comes to global warming or climate change or whatever the hell the left wants to call it this week, uh, humans are very adaptable. Case in point,
no, we're not adaptable at all.
Case in point, people are actually adapting and getting Stockholm syndrome when it comes to COVID.
That's not
Okay.
surprising whatsoever.
That's how adaptable we are. Well, the same thing holds true when it comes to climate change. We just had a hurricane hit New Orleans that was worse than Hurricane Katrina, stronger
Yeah.
than Hurricane Katrina. Almost nothing happened. You know why? We learned from Hurricane Katrina. We built the levees better. We redesigned things. That's what is going to happen with climate change. As the climate changes, we adapt, we rebuild. We either move away from the shores and move inland, or you build levees, you build things better so that um,
Yeah.
its impact isn't as bad. Don't forget, also, or global warming, there's been less deaths due to the cold than in the past. So people don't die as people don't die as much from heat as they do from cold.
Oh
So
no, you're right.
if it doesn't get as cold, it makes it actually helps the human race and helps survivability. On top of that, the theory is that, when it comes to heat, you have to be in extreme heat for days, weeks, months on end to succumb to it. For cold, it takes one night. You could
True.
you can be in the northern climate and lose power for one night, and you can die of hypothermia.
Hypothermia.
Yeah. So there's that. And then on top of that, global warming actually helps feed people because there's more CO2 in the air. More CO2 means bigger crops. More heat means more sun. All of that. Yeah, some places might get droughts, but other places are actually getting a lot of rain. Up here in the Midwest, in the northern Midwest, we got a ton of rain these last few years. The Great Lakes are higher than they were 15, 20 years ago. Back when I was in high school and I grew up, used to duck hunt on Lake Huron, you couldn't find water. You had to walk out so far. The level has risen probably about 2 or 3 feet. And because of that, you don't have to go out as far to find water. That means more fish. That means more ducks. That means more wildlife. All people are talking about is how bad global warming is, but not the good that it is.
True. So we'll get more into that. I snuck this one on. Biden added 2 new people to the FCC, right?
Yeah. Yeah. Two very,
You know what they're trying to
very
bring back?
leftist.
Net neutrality.
Net neutrality. Yep.
So this actually happened when we were both starting podcasting. How FCC then doesn't like it because they can't control it. Net neutrality started coming in, and then they started pushing, you remember, SOPA, and the Stop Anti-Privacy Act, where it gave the FCC power over things like us. Oh, this doesn't work for us. Go by. That is scary right now. If they're pushing to have this return,
net neutrality they make it sound like it's great because it basically a lot of what net neutrality is they want companies to pay for access to you. They claim it's so that our website, Fire Talk Radio, doesn't have to compete against another company that had like Netflix that has millions of dollars and people are
Yeah.
downloading Netflix. So the ISPs, the internet service providers, slow down our.
Yeah.
It didn't happen. It's not happening.
No.
It is a cure in search of a problem. And on top of that, internet is getting faster. Every year, internet's getting faster. I just got
Oh yeah.
another thing from Charter that they're raising my bandwidth.
Nice.
So every year, internet's getting faster. It's because the net neutrality didn't really go through. It did, but it didn't. And then you have Trump that came in and put the kibosh
Said
to
no.
it. That we have Netflix and Hulu and HBO Max and Disney and
Yeah.
Disney Plus and Paramount and
Sling.
CW, and I'm trying to think of all the different big companies that used to be terrestrial television and are now internet television.
Yeah.
That's because their net neutrality didn't go through. Therefore, they're able to regain their audience that they lost because people said, why am I paying for cable when I'm watching 2 channels or I'm
Mm-hmm.
watching 5 shows and I'm getting basically bombarded with stuff I don't want? um, family in the
She asked
background.
me for help.
Oh,
So
uh,
we'll take a quick break and then I will be back in about 10 minutes. I know this usually doesn't happen. Unfortunately, life is the way it is. Give me about 10 minutes and I will return. Jason, you can keep up if you want to go over the GE, the Baldwin, and hopefully the town
no,
the
I
town
want to
hall.
talk about that. So we'll take a break. We'll pause the cameras. The feed will still run, and we'll be back.
As soon as you give politicians power, any kind of power that didn't exist previously, if they can figure out a way to force you into carrying something that lets you enter businesses or lets you do this or lets businesses open, historically, they are not going to give that power up. They find new reasons to use it.
I'll be back.
We have to protect those freedoms at all costs, whether you agree with people's choices or not, because it is the foundation that this country was founded on. Freedom. This idea of freedom, there's so many people that think it's frivolous, it's not important, it's not the main thing that we should be focused on, but it is the literal structure that allows this country to be so fucking amazing. Every single country that's ever existed other than the United States, up until 1776, every fucking country that has ever existed was run by dictators. All of them. This is the first experiment in self-government that actually worked, and it created the greatest superpower the world's ever known. It created the greatest cultural machine, the greatest machine of art and creativity and innovation right fucking here. And how did it do that? It did it through freedom. And as soon as you see something, anything that comes along and inhibits your freedom, you should be very cautious of that thing. You should be very suspicious. Because anything that comes along that can inhibit your freedom is, by definition, anti-American.
And we're back. Just waiting for Ryan to put his headphones on.
Yeah, headphones and here and mic on. Yeah, thank you.
And mic
Sorry
on.
about that, everybody. It's not normal.
All right. So
All right.
so we're back. So first thing to jump into now that we're back is let's talk about the Biden town hall.
Oh, that was such a fucking fiasco, I swear.
First
I've never
off,
seen CNN kiss so much ass. But they actually fact checked it. Honestly. Which was I thought was amazing.
I don't know. I don't watch CNN to know about fact checking, but I do know I saw the town hall and there were some things that
Well, the
Biden
fact
said
check, yeah.
that it's quite scary. I mean, here's him talking about the filibuster. Now, we've known, those of us that didn't vote for him know that he wants to get rid of the filibuster, even though he's used it many, many times himself.
Yeah.
But now that he's in control, see, liberals have this idea that we're in control, we're always going to be in control, and we have to do everything we can. So they do things like what was it in 2012, I think it was, when they removed the filibuster for judicial appointments.
Yeah.
And because they wanted to push through judicial appointments for Obama, well, what happened? Trump comes into office, and now they're all pissy because he's pushing through, and he can get through what's her name at the end without a filibuster because they Amy Coney Barrett, thank you. Because they nixed the filibuster. They themselves. They did that.
So
because they can't look past their damn nose.
When Obama had the opportunity at the end to appoint somebody and he chose not to, that was Obama's choice. That was not him saying, he said, "Oh, I believe the next president should have this opportunity." There is nothing in writing that says that is what he has to do.
No.
Obama made the choice. Trump, when he got his first appointee in, then the other one came up right near the end. He was like, "Well, fuck you. I'm gonna fucking appoint my person because it's in."
Well, the thing is he appointed Merrick Garland, who's now our Attorney General, and thank heavens he's not on the Supreme Court. Oh, I think I lost Ryan.
Oh, I'm here.
Okay. So he appointed Merrick Garland, who's now our Attorney General, and thank God he's not on the Supreme Court. Can you, yeah?
Am I recording? Because I don't have a dot.
No, you're not recording.
Ew. Hang on. I gotta love these.
So hang up and come back. Hang up and come back.
Yeah.
This is a episode with a whole lot of problems.
There we go. Recording again.
Yep.
So
you're recording now. Okay, so like I said, so Merrick Garland was appointed by Obama, and he was in a going up against a Republican-led Senate for
and House.
Yeah, did we have the House? Yeah, we did. Boehner was there at the time. So, but he was going up against Republican-led Senate. They were not going to appoint him. They weren't going to appoint anybody that Obama picks. He could have picked one person after another, and it could have made it out of commission. They were still not going to appoint him. So the whole thing that, we have to wait till the next president and all this stuff. Yeah, they use them excuses, but you know what? It doesn't matter. They weren't going to appoint him.
They would have never gotten the votes to do so.
No.
That's the whole point.
then you get at the end when Ruth Bader Ginsburg dies, and there's like a month before, 2 months before the election, and they push through Amy Coney Barrett. The reason they could do that was because in 2012, the Democrats removed the filibuster on judicial appointments. And it bit them in the ass. Because, again, they can't see past their fucking noses and actually look to see how things are going to change in the future. Now, here's Biden on the filibuster again, wanting to get rid of it completely. Because he knows if he can get rid of the filibuster right now, before this changes into a Republican and possibly Republican House, actually more likely a Republican House than Senate, but either way, if he can do that, he needs to get it through before that happens, because once the Republicans are in Congress, he's not going to get anything passed. He knows he's a half-term president. So he's trying to get this through. But again, he's not looking at the future. The future is once Republicans have the House, the Senate, and the presidency, that means they can literally pass anything they want and undo everything that you said.
Yeah.
So here's the filibuster. Here's what he said on that.
It still is difficult to end the filibuster beyond that. That's another issue.
But are you saying once you get this current agenda passed on spending and social programs, that you would be open to fundamentally altering the filibuster, or doing away with it?
Well, that remains to be seen. Exactly what that means in terms of fundamentally altering it, whether or not we just end the filibuster straight up. There's certain things that are just sacred rights. One's a sacred obligation that we never going to renege on a debt. We're the only nation in the world. We have never, ever reneged on a single debt.
But when it comes to voting rights,
voting rights is equally as consequential.
When it comes to voting rights, just so I'm clear, though, you would entertain the notion of doing away with the filibuster on that one issue. Is that correct?
And maybe more.
And maybe other issues.
And everyone claps for that. They clap for them circumventing the Constitution that says if it's not in the federal government's purview, it goes to the states. Voting is a state issue.
It always has been. Anderson Cooper has become a putz.
Yeah.
Ever since he got to 60 Minutes, he has become a serious putz. He's corrupted by CNN and CBS, which they all work together. But as you watch that whole town hall, Anderson is basically feeding Biden his conversation.
Oh yeah.
Pieces.
Oh yeah.
But the filibuster has been a tool in Congress's, in the Senate's toolbox for millennia. It's been a part of this country. Everybody knew about the filibuster. It's been a role, and they've argued getting rid of it is the worst thing you can do.
The thing is the filibuster is there as a part of the checks and balances against a minor majority in the Senate. Again, 50+1.
Yep.
50+1. How do you stop a 50+1? Well, you make it that the minority has this tool to slow down the momentum of the Senate. That's the whole point. The best thing that the Senate can do, honestly, is damn near nothing. The best thing they can do is not pass stuff, not do shit, do their job with the budget, balance the budget, stuff like that, which they don't even do. But that's the point of the filibuster, is so that there is a break when you have a one side. It doesn't matter if it's Democrats or Republicans. If Republicans say, hey, we want to make it so we want to outlaw abortion, we want to federally outlaw abortion, I would support that. But the filibuster is there to stop a 50+1 Senate from being able to do that. And they want to do it for voting rights. They want to change the way that states can run their votes, essentially so that the Democrats always have the advantage. Always have. They want it so that the Democrats always, basically, they want it 2020 from here on forward. They want no ability to check signatures. They want no ability to check. They want to be able to send out ballots to every household, whether anybody lives there or not. Anybody can send it in. You don't know who's voting. That's what they want. And they want to give you like 2 months to be able to do it. There's a reason that we have a voting day, and that's so everybody is on the same page at the same time. You have one person that votes in September, and then a bunch of shit comes out in October.
Can't change your vote.
You can't change your vote. The voting day is there so that everybody has all of the information at the same time.
Yep.
And that's the reason, and they want to change that because they know that a lot of people, especially the ones in there that vote with the D, don't pay attention to actual politics, don't pay attention to actual news. They just listen to what they're told and vote because they hear a name and they recognize it.
On a side note, you were just talking about voting. Do you see the state of Virginia? The vote for governor right now is tied.
It's tied. He's slightly ahead in some polls.
Yeah. In some polls, yeah, it's showing the Republican governor, the Republican candidate is now showing ahead.
I'll be honest. It is so corrupt in Virginia. I'll be surprised. I think it's going to be a replay of 2020. I think they're going to be counting votes, and at 1:00 in the morning, they're going to say, "Oh, everyone's tired. Everyone's tired. Let's go to bed." And except for Joe Blow, who somehow miraculously found, a carton of ballots.
Right. If somehow Virginia wins and becomes red, it'll be the first time it's red in 40 years.
Yeah.
And that is going to be that will be the funniest thing, because I think Virginia needs to go red. I think a lot of states need to be red. You look at all the Republican states, all Republican ran. Some of the governors that are running it kind of make you question life a little bit, but the state as it is a lot better than blue states.
They are. They are. I mean, just look at the COVID lockdowns. The states that are suffering the most economically, with the most totalitarian governments, the most lockdowns, the most, like I said, the people with the most Stockholm syndrome are in blue states, and especially deep blue states. You want to know Stockholm syndrome? Visit California. California,
I don't want to go back to California. I was there for like 6 months, and I was like, "Fuck this shit, I'm out."
California, you go there and readjust my mic. California, you go there, people are afraid to leave their house. People aren't working. And the reason they're not working is because they have, again, it's human nature to adapt to your surroundings. Their surroundings is dictatorship. And they're adapting to it.
So, Gavin Newsom, went to the Department of Justice for the state of California, asked for the mandate to be lifted on one company that donated to his campaign $187 million. Oh, that was so fucking bought. That mandate
Oh, yeah.
lift was bought.
Oh yeah.
And it's sad that you have to go, oh, here's some money for your campaign. How about the mandate lift?
Well,
Yeah.
speaking of mandates, here's Biden on vaccine first responders. Listen to this.
As many as 1 in 3 emergency responders in some cities like Chicago, Los Angeles, right here in Baltimore, are refusing to comply with city vaccine mandates. I'm wondering where you stand on that. Should police officers, emergency responders, be mandated to get vaccines? And if not, should they be stay at home or let go?
Yes and yes. By the way, I waited until July to talk about mandating because I tried everything else.
No, you flat out lied and said you would not mandate.
Yeah. I mean, there's
But-
plenty of this whole administration said we can't mandate. We don't have the legal capacity to mandate. My ass. You knew damn well that was coming.
Everybody knew that was because that's their playbook. That's the leftist playbook. They want to mandate. They want to control people. The mandate
I love
has
it.
nothing to do with stopping the virus. It has to do with control. And just as Biden said right there, first responders, police officers, he wants to get rid of those that don't comply to him.
Yesterday's heroes, today's zero, because they're just being treated like garbage right now.
They are.
And
They are. I mean, look at all of these nurses that last year at this time were working without PPE. They were dealing with
My
COVID
wife was
patients. They
one.
were getting COVID themselves. They had no protection. And they were going in and doing that while all of you guys were sitting on your ass at home.
getting a paycheck from unemployment, free
Yeah.
unemployment, by the way.
And now, because they've already had COVID, they've seen what happens when you go into a hospital. They've seen what happens to people that get the shot. And they want to weigh their chances of, do I want to deal with the COVID or do I want to deal with the shot? And you guys are calling them villains? I've seen people on Facebook saying, I don't want somebody working on me that doesn't know science, or somebody working on me that won't even take the vaccine to protect me. Well, fuck you.
I'm right there with you. I'm in that same boat, and if I die, I'm cremated. Here's a small history of me. I've been dead twice already. I don't want a third. But I'm allergic to the flu shot. I can't get a medical waiver. Who knows what happens when I take this, if I take this vaccine? What's going to happen? And all. My wife is concerned. I'm concerned. My job is asking me to, and I'm weighing my pros and cons right now. Either I do what I like doing, or I go find something that's not asking, but that's going to cause me to move.
Well, and the thing is what was it? One of the more recent reports came out that around 40%, and that's not even the people that didn't go into the hospitals. 40% of the people in the hospitals were vaccinated. 40% of the people that had COVID.
What's great is the CDC has those numbers and they're not putting them out. They're only putting the unvaccinated numbers out, which is fucking disgusting. So whenever you bring that all up, people are like, no. And I'm like, but yes. I actually talked to people who work in hospitals that tell me completely different information than
I
what
do
the
too.
CDC is posting.
I do too. And like
And
I
they're like,
said,
"Oh, well, then you should go by the CDC." I said, "Why? Because they're not in the hospitals."
no, they're a government agency and they're not trustworthy anymore. I don't know if they ever were, but now they're showing their hand that they're not trustworthy. And then on top of that, again, this whole, well, if you get the vaccine, you're more likely not to get COVID. Well, you know what? If that's the case, I have a lot of friends that had the vaccine and had bad either reactions to the vaccine or have gotten COVID and had a bad experience after getting the vaccine.
Yeah. So
So
that's
is it just bad luck that it just so happens that my anecdotal evidence of more than one friend, like we're talking upwards getting up to 10 now of my close friends and family that have gotten the vaccine and been hospitalized either from after getting the vaccine immediately after or had gotten COVID and had a bad reaction to COVID after.
it. Unfortunately, they're gonna keep pushing this. There is my wife sent me a video of how to there's vitamins, a certain degree of vitamins that you can take and actually push it out of your system. So
Or at the very
I
least, not push it. I can't remember where the study
diminish
that I
it.
read came from, but they found that I think I want to say it was one of the Israeli studies found that people with low vitamin D had worse reactions to COVID. People with higher vitamin D had more mild to no reactions, which it's very possible that might have been the reason that if I did get COVID, I wouldn't have known it or I had a very mild reaction because I take vitamin D supplements. I take a lot of them because for some reason I have a hard time absorbing vitamin D. So I can't drink milk and I don't spend enough time in the sun. But that also makes sense where do the outbreaks happen? When it's summertime in the south and everybody's inside and they're not getting sun, and in the north where everybody in the winter in the north where everybody's inside and they're not getting sun. When your vitamin D goes down, so my vitamin D, I'm taking quite a lot of vitamin D supplements every day. That's a part of my just normal daily regimen.
All right. So
Okay.
let's get into more of. Do we have
Biden?
memes of Biden? Memes of Biden? Let's do
Well, do
memes
you
of
want to
Biden.
real quick talk about the gas prices that he talked about, or
Yeah, we can do that. Yeah, we can
okay,
do that.
I'll just play both of these back to back, and then we can talk real quick.
Do you have a timeline for gas prices of when you think they may start coming down?
My guess is you'll start to see gas prices come down as we get by and going into the winter, into next year in 2022. I don't see anything that's going to happen in the meantime that's going to significantly reduce gas prices. Gas prices relate to a foreign policy initiative that is about something that goes beyond the cost of gas. And we're about $3.30 a gallon most places now, when it's was down in the single digits. A dollar plus. And that's because of the supply being withheld by OPEC. And so there's a lot of negotiation that is, there's a lot of Middle Eastern folks want to talk to me. Mm-hmm. I'm not sure I'm going to talk to them, but the point is, it's about gas production.
Okay. When was the last time you heard anybody talk about OPEC before Biden?
Obama.
We haven't heard in the whole time during Trump. You know why? Because we didn't give two shits about OPEC.
Gas.
Yeah. He doesn't know when OPEC's going to give us gas. Why are we relying on OPEC again?
They're holding out for a negotiation they're looking for the bottom dollar. They're trying to get as much out of us as they can. Where we were when Trump was in office, we were making so much gas, so much oil that we were actually we were selling it at cheaper costs to overseas to help out our allies.
Right. We had a surplus where we were still buying gas. I mean, that's the way the world trade works.
Yeah.
It wasn't like we stopped buying gas, but we had that leverage that we could say keep the gas prices low, or we're just going to start using more of ours instead of selling it off. And so we didn't worry about OPEC because we have the gas, we have the natural gas, we have the shale, we have all these. We have the people and the equipment that if they would just approve the permits again, they would start lowering gas prices tomorrow.
Well, because we have that giant pocket in the Gulf of Mexico. We have that giant pocket in Canada that we made a deal with. That's what the
Pipeline, the XL pipeline.
the
was.
pipeline that was was it Keystone
Keystone,
XL
not
pipeline.
XL. Yes.
And then we have our reserve in Alaska. That was the whole
Not
purpose
to
of why we
mention-
bought Alaska.
Not to mention shale oil in the Midwest, in Pennsylvania, Michigan, Ohio, Wisconsin, Indiana, Nebraska.
Well, Pennsylvania was set up with a pipeline for the natural gas because we had they found a giant natural gas pocket in the state. And that became privilege to a lot of things.
You know, what was
know.
the last estimate I heard, which is maybe a couple years ago, they assumed we have enough natural gas and enough oil reserves that we could be self-sustaining for hundreds of years.
Yeah. I mean, we can go to electric cars because California is banning small engines.
Oh God, yes. Oh, banning.
My
'cause
thing
they
is,
say-
when the wildfires happen, how are they going to have an electric chainsaw to cut down trees?
like, honestly, who outside of whoa, that is creepy as all hell. I honestly thought like a ghost was coming up behind you.
Oh, it wouldn't surprise me whatsoever. So my son is going in a morph suit, so it looks like Slender Man
Yes, that's
as a
what it is.
child. And I was like, as I saw it in my camera, I'm like, ah. he
got
forgets
Slender
I
Man
can
coming
see
up to
behind
kill
me.
you. Okay, but yeah, so California's getting rid of that. Here's the thing. Okay, so the people that are in the city or in the suburbs, they can run electric lawnmowers. They can plug in because they have no yard. If you have no yard, you can use electric. I have 2.5, almost 3 acre yard that I have to cut. You can't do that with electric.
No, I have 1.5 acres, and I don't even like to push mow it, let alone think about an electric. That would drive me nuts. I think I would get my skateboard
Weed
out.
whack. I have an electric weed whack out of convenience because it's so much easier to start just slamming the battery in when I need to do like small stuff around the house itself. But
Yeah.
when I have to do like big trimming and everything, I have to go to gas because the electric doesn't have the power and it doesn't last as long.
Yeah.
So-
I just got an electric one recently because I decided how I have a 4-cycle where I don't have to mix the gas and oil together,
Mhm.
which is fucking fantastic. But I was like, man, this is the second one because the compression dies after a few years, which sucks. It's just a flaw in the engine. And mine just started crapping out recently, and I'm like, oh,
Do you clean the
don't do
carburetor?
this to me. Huh?
You clean the
cleaned up
carburetor?
Mm-hmm. Did that.
Hmm.
Swept out the spark plug.
Hmm.
Doesn't.
I have
It's a-
to.
I was like,
I just tried because we're coming up to winter, and I started up my generator for the first time in about 2 years, and my carburetor is so
I
gummed up.
have one brand new. I've only started. I fired it up one time, and that was like the very first time I bought the damn thing.
Well, my carburetor is so gummed up. I'm like, man, I got to tear this whole thing apart and clean it or buy a new one.
Yeah.
So I decided if I'm going to buy a new carburetor, I'm going to get the ones that I can switch between gas and propane and hook it up to a propane cylinder. So I looked on Amazon. They're only like $60, and they have one that fits my generator. That's fits my model of generator. So I just need to buy that, swap out the carburetor, and
Yeah, that'd be cool. That'd be awesome.
then I don't have to keep gas out there, gasoline all winter, and you have to put stable in it and all that stuff. Just
No, not if you get non-ethanol. You know,
you can get non-ethanol.
Yep. I
Not
get it
me.
all the time.
Not me. The only thing I can get non-ethanol is if I buy that racing gas that comes that's like has their own 5-gallon
Yeah.
thing.
No. Yeah. No. The actually the one gas station by me, Rudders, actually has a gas pump that has non-ethanol.
Oh, that would have
in
been
it.
so nice.
Oh my god, it's expensive, but it's fucking worth it.
Oh yeah, and it makes
It
it
makes
lets your
everything-
engines
it-
run
it
better
burns
and everything.
clean.
Doesn't gum up and everything. Yeah.
Yeah.
But like I say, I want to do this and switch it over. That way I can just keep a 20-pound propane tank out there with it and
Yeah.
that stuff for years. So
Oh yeah.
okay, let's get to the one that everyone is talking about with this. So I'm going to show the clip first of the actual clip of Biden with his hands clutched. And I want to talk about that for a minute,
Oh,
and then
yes.
we'll get into the
Our
memes.
memes.
Oh,
The memes of Biden.
Play. Play.
We just played you.
Play.
Sorry, ladies and gentlemen. Ooh, hey, look, we have an audience member. Who's in the audience?
It's probably me. I'm looking at it
Oh.
on YouTube.
No, there was
I'm
an audience
watching
member
our,
on the.
Somebody wrote on Facebook. There once was an old lady who swallowed a spider. That's not all she swallowed. Oh, there's no
Whoa.
S in there. Why am I putting an S in there? Should they actually wrote
Oh, no.
swallowed?
Good job.
There once was a VP that swallowed also.
That's what she said.
Okay. Why are you not playing? Okay, let's go to the memes. So before we get to the Biden memes here, so Biden, for some reason, there's probably about 30, 40 seconds where Biden literally stood there with his hands clenched, like
Yeah.
just clenched. Anderson Cooper was talking and he's just standing there clenched.
I think it was when they were talking about the docks, the shipping issues.
Yeah. So it was such a weird moment though, because here's him. I talked to a couple friends of mine that work in retirement homes, and they said that that's actually happens to a lot of older people, especially people with dementia. I don't know if your wife, because she works in one, doesn't she?
Yep.
If she's seen it or if you talk to her about
No.
it, but it
No,
has
she
to
doesn't
do.
see
They
it.
said when they get stressed, that like literally just clench and their body just goes completely rigid. So either that's happening or Biden's imagining himself riding a pony. So
I couldn't tell you. I mean, I thought he was just trying to hold a poop.
trying to hold he was trying to push. I think he was trying to push out a poop into his Depends.
No,
He
I
was
think he
like-
was trying to hold it. Remember, because he didn't want to be on national TV and have to yell, I got my butt wiped again.
So here's some of the memes. I'm going to turn the sound down. So here's one he's holding Let's Go Brandon. And there he is. That's a race car driver. I'm a race car driver. Buy Bitcoin. Now he's downhill skiing. He's imagining himself downhill skiing. I like that. Now he's cross country. Oh, now he's holding the his dirty Depends. And we've got Hulk hands. I love these. Playing VR. He's holding the VR controllers. Rock'em Sock'em Robots. Right there. He's playing Rock'em Sock'em Robots. And his best with the ice cream, holding the dual ice cream cones. I can't read what it says there. Ah, your favorite. Oh, he's got the.
Oh, no,
slippers
and
on.
it's Cooper turning into the
you
very-
had told us at a town hall, I think it was in July, that it's about that with just in terms of inflation, because you had told us.
He's got a
in
rocket
July,
on.
it was in July,
He's Rocket Man,
that
and
the-
he's flying
it's-
off. I love the
guess he wants
Beavis
to
and
join
Butthead
Space
one.
Force.
That's
Oh,
his
yeah.
Space Force. He's imagining Space
Space
Force.
Force.
He's the Rocketeer, and he's holding on to the rocket to the front for his jet.
Something like that, yeah.
Yeah, there we go. Oh God, so many weird things. And then the other one that happened last week that wasn't Biden, but was actually Kamala Harris. She was at, did you see her? She was at an event and she was literally thanking every single person in the crowd. He's like, I want to thank, the governor. I want to thank this person. I want to thank Kamala Harris, or no, she's just going down the list. Sorry. But the whole time she's doing it, she's flapping her arms like they're wings.
Yeah.
She's like doing the funky
She's
chicken.
got that uncontrollable laugh. I swear to God.
It's the
that
Joker
cackle.
laugh. Yeah.
I swear to God. Should give Mark Hamill a run for his money for the Joker laugh.
She's got the Joker laugh. It's honestly, she is an evil villain. She's got the evil villain laugh.
Yeah, no.
That's what
I
it
wouldn't doubt
is.
that.
So, yeah, just a weird town hall. Weird
Oh,
town
God.
hall. So
I think they're only going to get weirder. That's what's scary. As his presidency keeps going.
the thing is that town hall is one of the reasons they don't want him talking.
Oh no,
And
it's exactly.
everything was so rehearsed. You know that it was nothing was off the cuff. He wasn't surprised by any questions.
No, because it was a town hall with invited guests.
Yes.
So they had to be invited to be there. So they just picked and choose who they needed. And also it's terrible.
It was. And he had such pre-planned answers that he memorized, and so
Well, half of them Anderson Cooper kind of filled him in for.
that's
so-
true. I mean, and the thing is it's one thing, like if you lose the name, like the way that my mind works, I try talking and then all of a sudden I'm like, okay, what's the name of that person or that thing? And I like lose like a noun of, the Speaker of the House is that's me. That's how my mind works. I'm not president. I could never be president partially because of that. But he like completely forgets where he's at, what he's doing.
Yeah. So with the town hall, I believe this part of it, that that CNN decided to fact check Biden's comments and answers, and Chris Cuomo did the fact checking, and I know deep down that hurt his butthole puckered, because he didn't want to do it, but he was stuck doing it. I was like, all right, Biden said that he talked about the border and everything, that he had been down there. The only person in the Biden family that's been down there is Jill Biden. And that was before she was president. That's before Joe was president. They can't, as he was a senator, vice president, and now president, they cannot find a single flight record or document showing that he has ever been to the border. So he's never been to the border.
No.
No.
Kamala Harris,
they
who's
talked about
supposed to be the border czar, has never been to the border.
Right. And then he talked about tax rates and everything, that they were going to up the tax code for it. About the highest tax rate is 35%, which it was wrong, because the actual tax percentage right now for businesses is 37%. Wrong again. Then he said something about vaccinations, that he's gotten only 190 million people vaccinated. They were saying that's inaccurate. That they were saying only about 190 million people have had one shot or two. So
right, because now they're saying you have to have
off.
3 shots to be vaccinated. Pretty soon it's going to be 4. I think they just mentioned that.
Well, they've already started talking about having a 4th.
Yeah,
and I'm like, see, it's just never ending. It's never going to end. Oh yeah, this one they said he brought up that Fox News had that mandated the vaccine. Tucker Carlson came out. He was adamant about that. He goes, we do recommend it, but it is not a mandated thing. And they came out and said that officially, and they're like, oh well, Joe Biden's wrong again. And then his job creation in there. Can't create jobs when we're coming out of a fucking pandemic. People are just going back to work.
Right. If you were before the pandemic, then you were paused during the pandemic and go back to that same job after the pandemic, you didn't
That's
create
not a job
anything.
creation.
No,
people are just going back to work. So yes, people are coming off unemployment because they've started cutting federal funding. Speaking of federal funding, did you see what they're going to do to immigrants?
Oh, give them
like $450K for reparations. I'm going to go become an illegal immigrant and I'm going to jump the border.
Like literally, we should drive across the border, park the car, and then go across that dam in Texas.
Yeah. Why not? Walk right the fuck in. Oh, I want reparations. I traveled here from wherever.
Yeah. I'm Hungarian. I came from Hungary through South America up through Mexico.
I heard that, and I was like, that means a family of 2 will have almost $1 million.
Yeah.
You're just killing the economy, and just then anybody that's paying taxes is just getting raped.
Incentivizing people illegally crossing the border.
Yeah.
You're incentivizing this. We've had scenes this year than any other year in history. And he's incentivizing it.
That's why you're not allowed to fly drones over there. You actually have to be in a helicopter now.
Oh, really? They did make that a rule?
Yeah. Yeah, you're not there. They've made sure no media company can take their drones and fly it over the area. But doesn't stop them from getting in a helicopter and going over. So, yeah. Yeah, rent a helicopter. Go check it out. All right.
I remember
So, Mhm.
working my first job in news, and my first
I'm
summer we
sorry.
had a forest fire in Michigan, and
Ew.
they had me hanging out the side of a helicopter because it wasn't like our news station. I wasn't a big news station that had their own helicopter that was rigged up with cameras and stuff like that. They
Yeah.
rented a guy who opened up the door, put a harness on me, and said, "Lean out with this $50,000 camera." And I'm like, okay, I've got this kung fu grip on the camera because it's basically held on by my hand and my shoulder. And if I
Oh,
drop
yeah.
it, I don't know where anything is going. We're in the middle. All of a sudden the wind changes. I get a mouthful of smoke from the fire.
Oh, that's awesome.
But
So,
it's a good story.
so speaking of news, have you ever watched the news and porn play in the background?
No, I've never been that lucky.
And in the state of Washington,
Of course
news
it would be
agency was
Washington.
going on. Oh, it was local. I believe it was weather. It was the weather girl
It was weather.
lady.
It was
She was,
weather.
yeah. They were talking in the green because it's not an actual monitor. That's a green screen.
Yeah.
Was playing some good old fashioned porn.
So real quick, just to tell people how it works with the chroma key with the green screen and the weather. The control room, people think it goes through the control room and they control everything. Generally, that's not how it works. You actually have the meteorologists that have their own computer, and they preload things. So they'll preload pictures, kind of like we do with this podcast.
Yeah.
Pictures, we preload video clips, and sometimes they actually like when it comes to like the Doppler radar, they can't preload that because it's real time. So
Yep.
what they do is they basically screen share that entire screen from that computer onto the green screen behind them.
Yep.
And they have a little controller in their hand. It's kind of like a people that do PowerPoint presentations that go to the next slide, to
clicker.
the next slide. And that's how they flip to it, which means that either her or one of her meteorologist coworkers was watching porn on that computer at that time that she flipped to it.
Yep. It is fucking fantastic. Because in the photo that they have on the New York Post, it's one of the monitors in the meteorologist's office. So the ultimate question was, she may have been the last one in that office, or someone else was, and then she walked in and didn't know it was on that screen.
Right.
But
Usually the at least where I work, the Doppler computer really touches it.
oh yeah,
So she probably didn't even think to look at it.
yeah. I think she's gonna want to look at it now.
Now,
mean-
okay. First job in television. I'm working the floor. So basically, when you work the floor, everyone thinks, oh, you have like a cameraman, one for each camera. Well, in small stations, it's like one person that does this dance between like 5 different cameras.
Yeah.
And you read ahead and you move the camera, and then they cut to that, and then as they cut to that, you go to the next camera. So I'm running the cameras. I'm halfway in between, and we have this anchor who, God, I love
you
her. She
trip?
is so awesome. No, I love her. She is so awesome. I almost fell over laughing though, because they were doing a bantering back and forth, and they were talking about the weather, and I don't remember what the setup was that it went to her, but it was like right before a commercial break. And she goes, well, it may be, 97 degrees outside, but it's always 60
Nice. Good old
live,
sexual harassment. God,
live
that's
on camera.
best.
And then cut to a couple months later. God, I love her because she doesn't realize that she says it too. That's the best thing. And she's so professional. She can like go through a script and you would never know that she was reading. Like she is so awesome. But then when she has to talk often, she has it and she doesn't realize it. So at another one, she had to throw it to sports. So you have the two anchors and they banter, and normally they say, all right, and let's go to such and such for sports. And so they were talking about a dog that has 3 legs. So it's what we call a fluff piece. A
Sure.
dog that has 3, you know where this is going.
I
A dog that has 3 legs, and how heroic he is and stuff like that. And she goes, all right, let's send it over to sports. So Luke, do you have 3 legs? And here's them staring into the camera, and his answer, I kid you not, was, I can't answer that. We'll be back with sports.
yeah, that was probably a good setup of let me see your 3rd leg.
It was the greatest thing. I'm still
No.
friends with her on Facebook. She's awesome. I love her. But
Hey, you
it
should
was
bring
just-
her on here. That'd be interesting.
Yes. Some of the days those are some of the days I miss working in news is stuff like that.
Yeah. I mean, it couldn't be no worse than Michael Myers being homophobic. Tell me about that one.
Okay. So
I saw the new movie. I don't think I've seen all his movies. I've never seen Michael Myers
Okay.
look at a gay person and go, "Oh no, I'm not going to cut you."
So this is according to Yahoo News, UK Yahoo News.
Well, that's
That-
it's just one of the articles I grabbed.
Yeah, but they say at one point in Halloween Kills, the new Halloween movie,
Yep.
Myers returns to his childhood home and finds an unsuspecting gay couple living there. The men, who are named Big John and Little John, realize someone is in their home.
That sounds seductive. That shouldn't be
Yeah.
their names.
They could have picked better names, honestly.
Yeah.
Like Big Gay John, Little Gay John. Like, isn't that from South Park? Big Gay Al. That's what it is from South Park.
Big Gay Al.
Yeah. But he realizes in their home, searches for the intruder, but instead of making it out alive, they're murdered by Michael Myers. This scene stirred up discussion on Twitter, with people labeling Michael Myers homophobic for killing the couple. Give me a fucking break. Okay. First of all, Michael Myers is probably asexual, with the exception that he had incest with his niece in Halloween 6.
That was still creepy.
That is creepy. We don't know it's incest. They could have done it a different way, but we know that she had a baby that they said came from the source, and he's the source. So, but
He's the source of something. I swear to God.
so anyway, it's a fucking horror film. Michael Myers kills everyone that is in his vicinity. Okay. That's the
Except
thing.
Sigourney Weaver. Or Jamie Lee Curtis. Except for
Well,
her. She always fucking gets away.
Yeah. Well, there's theories on that. But the thing is Okay, Michael Myers, stop looking at him as a person. Michael Myers was never meant to be a person. That's why he wears the mask. In fact, even in the Halloween films, they don't refer to him in the credits as Michael Myers. Do you know what they call him?
I don't know. I didn't look.
He's known in the scripts and in the credits, he's the Shape.
The Shape.
The Shape. The reason he's the Shape is because Michael Myers was never meant to have a person. If he was a person, that meant he had emotions, he had actions, he is supposed to be a force of nature. Dr.
He's
Loomis
already-
even
he's,
says
like,
you can't he's evil. He is the
Yeah.
nature of evil. You can't stop evil. Michael Myers can't. He's opportunistic. If there's somebody nearby, he will kill them. In Halloween Resurrection, after Halloween H2O, he went home to the Myers house, where he killed his older sister Judith. He went home to the Myers house, and they shot a reality show in that house. Guess what happened? He killed everyone.
Yep.
The reason he killed them wasn't because they were girls, wasn't because they were gay or straight. It was because he is a force of evil. He is
And they were in his
nature.
house.
And they were in his house. They were in his vicinity. The best thing you can do if you ever run into Michael Myers is stay away from him. Don't run from him. Just walk like 100 yards ahead of him and keep him in your sight. And as he comes to you, you walk at the same pace away from him. But you can't have a masked monster that is called the Shape and imbibe them with homophobia. He can't, because he is nature. Nature is unrelenting. Nature doesn't care if you're rich, you're poor, you're homosexual, you're straight, you're LGBTQ, AAFD, ICL, MNOP. All nature does is destroy. That's it. You just like you can't stop a tornado. A tornado doesn't care about your house. A tornado just looks at whatever's in its way and it goes through it. That is the thing. People that want to make everything about politics and homophobia and all of that shit are completely full of shit themselves. And you know
Not
what?
wrong.
Anybody that's listening to this that wants to defend that and say he is homophobic from this, you're full of shit also.
Hey, well, no. Well, if you want to defend that side, we'd be more than happy to hear it out. We'll have a discussion. But
But just know that you're still full of shit.
bullshit. Yes, the bald man said so.
Yes.
So,
And again, it's crazy as it sounds, I consider myself a type of authority when it comes to the Halloween films. I have studied every single one of them. I've studied John Carpenter's making of it. I've written numerous literary papers on it. My defense for my degree was partially on Michael Myers. It cannot be. Michael Myers has no emotions. You have to have emotions in order to be homophobic. And there is my take on Michael.
not gay.
Not, I don't think he is. But
he doesn't. He likes the gays. He kills them with purpose.
he kills. You know what? He's equal opportunity.
This is true.
I
This
mean,
is,
think about it this way: out of all of the people he's killed, only 2 of them were gay.
It's true. And all it's like I've
One was Paul Rudd.
I've been told it's like that I've been told I'm an asshole and that I'm only an asshole to select people. And I said no. I'm an equal opportunity asshole. I hate everybody. Hate everybody equally. I don't discriminate. I don't give a shit. You're in my shithole, then fuck off.
Although the Catholic Church, now here's something that's really funny, and this is real world. This comes from Christian Today. The pandemic is driving up for exorcism, according to Catholic priests.
Have you ever seen the priest actually take a class on exorcism?
I think I saw a YouTube video once years ago, but that was about it.
So, everyone that knows, I'm originally from Maryland, and we all know there's a famous movie that was done in Maryland, The Exorcist. Fuck. The famous Georgetown stairs from that house are in Georgetown. A lot of the priests that were actually, because I did a report on it where the actual original priests gave weight into the script of how the Catholic priests in the movie needed to act for said exorcism. So it's a real thing, and all exorcisms are real. How you believe in it is up to you, and if you don't believe in the afterlife, you don't believe in the afterlife. Your fucking choice. It's people think COVID now is just Satan or something within you.
Well,
They
listen
figured
to
get
this.
it out.
This is the reason. This is according to the Telegraph.
Yeah.
Quote, we have seen an increase in the requests of exorcism because of the pandemic has made people more vulnerable to the idea that Satan or some evil entity has taken over their lives. People have fallen into poverty. They found themselves suffering from anxiety and depression. They feel
Nice.
that their lives are no longer their own hands, but in the hands of a malign force. It's a big crisis. Now, okay, I probably should believe in exorcisms and stuff like that. I don't believe that if they are out there, if there are really the devil or demons taking over people's lives and their bodies, I don't believe it's happening at a high rate, and the pandemic didn't do it. What they're talking about is what happens when the government locks people down,
And
takes away
people go
their
cuckoo.
ability, takes away their freedom and their ability to make an income. They fall into depression. They drink. They smoke. They feel like their lives are not their own because they're not allowed to live it themselves.
Let's go, Brandon.
Let's go, Brandon. That's the person that should be blamed. I'm sorry. It's not the devil. It is Brandon that's doing that.
Yeah. So,
but they do say there are some people though that they found where their voices change completely. A woman might start speaking like a man. Some develop superhuman strength, and it takes 4 or 5 people to restrain them.
That's just crazy people.
Yeah, I've seen that in law enforcement. Mind you,
meth heads.
Again, we talked about this last time. I studied martial arts my whole life. I'm a wrestler. I coach wrestling. I got taken out by a 100-pound woman high on meth and cocaine. Like I couldn't. She.
Is it a relative of Florida man?
No, Michigan. But
I guess.
she took me out. My partner, though, when I yelled to him, as I'm sitting on my ass, because she bowled me over like a linebacker. I'm sitting
Sure.
on my ass. I yelled to my partner because she's heading over towards him and her husband, who she was like gonna beat. And my partner turns around, grabs her by the neck, and WWE style chokes because he's like 6'7" and 280 pounds. Oh, it was beautiful.
That's nuts.
But it still took you know, 3 of us to get her under control. We put her in the
Sure.
car. We put her in the car, and you know, with the handcuffs behind her back, thinking everything was fine. All of the sudden, we hear banging on the car. She laid down on her back, on her hands with the cuffs, and kicked out the back window of the car. Then we get a call for a hobble restraint. We put her in a hobble restraint, put her in a different vehicle. All of a sudden, we hear banging, banging again, and she's slamming her head against the window, blood coming down. She was going crazy back there.
Withdrawal.
We ended up
Withdrawal from the
having to
meth.
hog tie her. Yeah, we ended up having to hog tie her. Took her to the jail. By the time I had to come back the next day and talk to the turnkeys, and they had to take her to mental health. They got a blood draw, and when we got the blood draw back, they found alcohol, cocaine, methamphetamine, Demerol, and opioids in her system.
She's just a box of rocks on drugs.
Yeah, so she was going through these swings as one had hit, and then the next had hit. Oh, she was crazy. So, because she was at a high school reunion, and her husband didn't
Jesus.
want to hang out with her and her friends, so he went up to the bar himself, and she couldn't find him.
Well, he's probably banging the head cheerleader behind the bleachers. Why not?
Hey, I would be.
Right?
Okay. So COVID exorcism, we banned that. You want to talk about the GE walkout? Because I don't know much about that, but
All right.
you
Yeah.
said that was pretty big.
Yeah. So I believe there was a total of 4 plants, but they did, and this all happened on the same day. So GE, which is General Electric, that they're being forced their mandate. All the employees said "fuck you" and walked out all on the same day, and all 4 of their plants. Thousands of people just said, "Fine, good luck," and then left. GE is responsible for anything and everything you can think of when it comes to electronics. GE has a stamp on almost anything you can think of,
Oh yeah,
from
oh yeah.
TVs to VCRs to appliances to
Even stuff that's
power
inside
grids.
other electronics.
Yeah. And then you also have solar. They started getting the solar panels. So, oh well, then the biggest manufacturer just said "fuck you" and walked out. That's like when Southwest said, "Oh fuck you, we're not taking our planes off."
Well, you know what this shows? What this shows is that
People are
with the
fucking
Southwest and with this, so that's what it takes. It doesn't take every single person saying "fuck you." It takes probably about, if you get about 20% of the people to do anything,
yeah.
an intransigent minority, you can actually change policy.
Yeah.
And we're seeing that. We saw that with Southwest. It wasn't every flight, it wasn't every pilot, but it was enough of them.
That was the thing. It was enough to make Southwest have to give a whole bunch of vouchers
Right.
to be like, Maybe we
and for
shouldn't
them
do
to
this.
decide, should we lose money not flying people, or should we lose money no longer taking government contracts?
Yeah,
Which one is worse?
that would be the question.
And that's where I love seeing this, because it's showing that people are standing up. When you hear Chicago, and they could be losing 3,000 police officers from this, which now Florida, the governor said, hey, we'll get $5,000 voucher to move.
Oh my
down here."
God, that was fucking awesome. Oh, the state of
Yes.
Indiana was the same way. They're like, oh, if you want to come over here, no vaccine mandate. Hire you on the spot. I was like, fuck yeah, that's the way you fucking do it. Like, oh, you want a mandate? Other states are be like, we'll take you on. Let's go.
Yep, exactly. But that's the thing, is people stand up, and enough. It doesn't have to be everybody. And that's what I want to
No.
tell people, is stand up for yourself, because if you get 10 to 20%, okay, let's put it this way. I grew up in a household of 5 people. All right. 2 parents, 3 kids.
Sure.
I'm going to pick on my sister. My sister, if she decided that all of a sudden she was going to be vegan,
Fuck.
that would change the way the rest of us ate, because all of a sudden my mom would, because growing up, my mom primarily cooked our dinners. My mom would have to cook, either fight her and put all that energy into fighting, or she would put less energy saying, well, it's easier for me just to make her own vegan dinner. So everyone else will eat normal dinner. She'll eat a vegan version of it.
Yeah.
Then she'll go, well, you know what? Let's just, rather than making 2 and she won't eat everyone else's, let's just make a vegan for everybody, because I know Jason won't complain. He just wants to go with the flow. And that's how 20%, 1/5, can change it for everyone. That's why it's important that everyone stand up. Even if you're called out and you're, treated like a pariah, stand up for yourself, because it doesn't take everybody at your company, at your school, at your township. It doesn't take everybody to do it. It just takes enough. You only need an intransigent to do it.
So, yeah.
All right.
How would you feel about if a teacher taped a mask to your kid's face?
Oh, that teacher would be knocked out. I would be going to jail.
This isn't the first time I've heard something of this.
Because I would be pressing charges for assault.
Oh yeah. The thing is, this isn't the first time I've heard them, like, teachers doing this. There was a special needs student. She was having issues anyway. She would never keep a mask, so they would tie one on her. They were doing it for 6 weeks. The dad found out 6 weeks later because they forgot to take off the mask the one day.
Oh.
And he went to the school board and they arrested him.
In Colorado,
I was like,
6th grader at Chinook Trails Middle School sent a selfie to her mother with her mask taped on her
being
face
taped
with blue painter's tape. Now, painter's tape isn't bad. I mean, it's not like duct tape, but still, it's assault. It's assault
on a minor.
And they go on in this article, talk about how teachers are walking around with the tape on their wrist like they're bracelets. This is so awful.
The fact that teachers are taking their political stance in the school, that's what's making this hard, because they're going off their political beliefs about they need to wear masks. It has been proven scientifically that masks don't work. They never have.
Kids are not at risk. They never were.
I swear to God, if I ever got a selfie from my kid,
H1N1 than they are with COVID.
Right? if I had gotten a picture with my kid with a tape on their face, and I would have been like, I'm going out for a drive. I'm gonna be walking to this. I'll be taking my kid out of school right then and there, and all.
So they say that the investigation is underway. You know, about the painter's tape. How is there an investigation? Like, who's investigating? It doesn't say in here if it's the police. It should be the police.
It should be, but it's probably the school board, most likely, because they're gonna police their own.
Right. Just like
And all.
just like the school board is going to cover up rapes in Virginia.
Oh yeah,
and
that was disgusting.
And so, you know,
Boy
you had
went
this,
in wearing a dress and raped the dude's that kid.
yeah,
Oh, that
this boy in Loudoun County, Virginia, dresses like a girl sometimes when he wants to be a girl until he gets in the bathroom with a girl. Then he becomes automatically a boy and inserts his dick into her against her will.
yeah.
They call the dad. They didn't call the police.
Nope.
They called the police on the dad.
Yeah, that was trying to defend his daughter.
Yeah. And
See,
then
that's
and then he's out on probation. They send him to a different school and he does the same thing to another girl.
I told my wife, I said,
And they're
Yes,
and they
but-
cover it up.
yeah, because they were talking about drags being able to use the bathroom of their gender that they are now. That is fine. It's the people that are going to abuse that that's going to be my issue. If I see a grown ass man walk into the women's bathroom because he feels like he's going to be a woman that day after my little girl had just gone in there, you be fucking Christ, I'll be right behind him.
Well, that's the issue. The issue isn't you know, somebody that went through, had the operation, you know, all of that. The issue is
I care less about
you
that.
don't know beforehand. You saw a guy go into a girl's bathroom, you knew something was up.
Yeah.
Now, because of, again, an intransigent minority of what, maybe 5%, 3%?
Sure.
All of the sudden, they're putting people at risk. They're not at risk from the actual transgenders. They're at risk from the people using this as an excuse to get into women's restrooms, women's locker rooms,
Yep.
when they're not women. They never intend to be women. They're in there to get their jollies off.
They're abusing the system, and that's what makes it
You know,
such a
If-
pain.
if Jenner, not Bruce, what's he now?
Caitlyn.
Caitlyn Jenner wants to go into a women's locker room. Okay, you're a woman now. You've been a woman for what, 5 years now? But you're a woman now.
Yeah. I
If-
love it. Though his first year as a woman, he became Woman of the Year.
I
I was like,
know.
wow. I was like, man, he's Woman of the Year.
Woman of
he-
the year. All these women that spent their whole, you know, do great things.
And never
just
had
had to
and
become
never had a
one.
period.
Yep. But, you know, Caitlyn Jenner, not worried about Caitlyn Jenner going into a women's locker room and doing something. I'm worried about, you know, someone, you know, I'm worried about if Bruce Jenner went in there not knowing why he's going in. That's the issue. And then you have things like this that basically confirm our suspicion, which is that, you know, that's why. And then you have schools saying, oh, well, we're going to allow boys in the girls' locker room because they decide that they're a girl. What girl wants, like, if a girl came into the boys' locker room, I mean, there'd be a lot of laughing, you know, rude comments,
Yeah.
stuff like that. But a boy going into a girl's locker room, again, unless like you have documentation that that person has, you know, basically thought they were a girl from the time they were 3, I would have a problem wondering what's in there. Why this boy is going in and looking into an area where there is young women, young girls, high school, middle school girls changing naked, and you're letting a boy in there. I mean, think about the movies back in the 80s and the late 70s. Meatballs, Porky's. That
Oh my
that was
God.
like that was always a joke, and that was always like, the adolescent dream of, ooh, if I could just be invisible and I could go into the girls' locker room.
Right?
It's that's the problem with it. And then on top of that, you have this school in Florida, in Broward County, Florida, that takes kids on a field trip to a gay bar. Not sure how they got that passed, but evidently they've been doing it for years. And then I'm looking it up right now so I can send you the link. Here we go. Nope, not that one.
Gotta love podcasting on the fly. I have a whole show written out, and we're looking up other shit. It's great.
Yeah. So there's another school, and I'm looking it up, that put on a strip show the students did for some of the faculty.
Oh yeah, you were telling me about that. That was the one in Florida. Is that
I
Florida?
want to
Or
say
is that Georgia.
Georgia. And let me look in news. School lap dance. They put on a lap
Got it.
dance.
Yeah,
You found
I
it?
found it. Yeah, I found it. It was in Kentucky,
Oh, was it oh God, Kentucky.
a Kentucky high school. Oh,
Andy, we need you. We need you, Andy.
right.
Okay. Yep. I
So
principal of a school is under fire over photos appearing to depict students performing lap dances for staff. Is also embroiled in a sexual assault lawsuit himself. So NBC. So student staff lap dance at Kentucky high school leads to discipline. The superintendent of a Perry County, Kentucky school district said disciplinary actions were taken after photos posted on social media showed high school students giving lap dances to staff members. The pictures were posted on the school athletic page, but have since been removed. They're still circulating on social media. They put it on the school athletic page.
there's some. There's some. Giving a lap dance, I guess, has to be classified as gym athletics. Depends on what they were doing. The fact that there's students giving teachers lap dances is gross enough.
I know.
Jesus.
So, it's.
But this could have never happened in the 90s. Because Gen X and boomers were raising us. The late Gen X and early millennial people.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. We go home. Oh, what'd you do? Oh, the teachers made us give them a lap dance. Excuse me?
And it's
There would have been a mob going to the school of parents with pitchforks and fire.
there would. So here we go from the Daily Mail. This one has some of the more G-rated pictures. I'm gonna post it in the chat for you, just so you can see. Here's them. They're on the gym floor. the staff, it looks like, some fat coaches, and they have a student wearing a blindfold and underwear giving lap dances. It featured cheerleaders wearing Hooters waitress outfits. I miss
That's a
Hooters.
jock rubbing a big fat man's belly.
Yeah.
Oh, fuck.
You go back down, and I mean, looking in the background, there's a bunch of students. It's a pep rally.
Yeah.
They're at a
Fucking teachers spanking the students with
Yep.
ping pong paddles. That's just. Where's Andy at when I need him? And be like, hey, the fuck are you doing in your high school area?
I mean, come on. How does this, like, what adult there thought that this was a good idea? Let alone that many adults. There was other teachers there. You had how many coaches and faculty there? You could see in the pictures a lineup of students. So
There were
that
students
people
in
that are,
bleachers just sitting there watching. That's creepy in itself.
so let me pull this up. I'm gonna screen share so that
Oh Jesus.
the people watching can see. So let me bring this up. So there we have the student giving that fat coach a lap dance. At least he has a mask on. There's the
thing is, I
Hooters
think
girls,
it's-
and
I think
they're carrying beer, or at least what's supposed to be beer.
In Hooters uniform.
In Hooters.
Oh wait,
This
the
one-
old uniforms. The new ones are different.
This one, look at all the people in the
I
background.
think it's a dude in a dress.
He's wearing like
He's wearing a mask.
panties sort.
And they're ripped
and
to
a
shit.
tube top, in a tube top, and here's the, I don't know, basketball coach or somebody in the background.
He's
having-
laughing. He's having a
he's
good
laughing.
time. He's
They're
having young
spanking him with
cheeks.
the paddling, and
Paddle.
look, right there, he's on a microphone. This is a pep rally
Yeah.
that they're doing this.
That's just utterly creepy.
Isn't it?
Just a bit.
I
So-
mean, I remember back to pep rallies, we would do things like, wrap people up with toilet paper. That was one of the games. We would play like soccer on with where you wheeled around on those little like dolly things on the floor. I don't think we ever gave lap dances.
No. Nope. Nope. Can't say that lap dances were a part of school.
Although,
But-
what a class that would be. I would be joining that class if I was in school and they had like lap
Right?
dance class. Like, I'd be like the only boy in there. I'd say I was a girl.
Yeah. I'm a girl today.
For this class, I'm going to be a girl and be in the girls' lap dance class.
All right. So, last but not least, tonight we're going to. This has been a big story for like the last week because of how new this is the Alec Baldwin situation.
Oh, yeah. Another
so-
one that I can talk forever about.
So, just a little backstory. So, after Brandon Lee died on set doing The Crow, a lot of new procedures came out about handling prop guns with ammunition. All of that has been to prevent an accident like this ever to happen again. The bullshit happened with Brandon Lee in the early 90s, and it's taken almost 20 plus years to have us another fatal fucking accident because
Almost
that
30
gun.
because Brandon Lee was like 1991 or 1990.
Yeah, 91, 92. Yeah. So the armorer, that's what her title is. She's an armorer. She handles all the weapons. So she was the one to make sure everything was there, loaded, on blanks, yada yada yada. So, but the thing is, that gun has to get checked by 2 other people before Alec Baldwin actually gets the damn gun.
Right. So
That's the whole purpose of that procedure. Because you can tell the difference between a loaded gun with bullets versus blanks. There is a weight difference.
well, not even weight. So the way that it's supposed to work on a set is any fireable gun. So a lot of the prop guns on set are basically weighted cap guns.
Real guns. They're
Well,
real
no.
to a point.
So most of them nowadays don't actually have the ability to fire. They don't have a hammer. They don't have the ability to fire. They're there for, like, if I seen and I was to point a gun at you and shoot you, they would have me hold that gun up and that fake one that cannot fire at all, and I would aim that at you, and they would cut. They would move you out of the way. They would give me the real gun, and the real gun would have a blank in it. Nobody would be in the direction of fire, and I would pull they would cut to a different angle, maybe a more head-on angle, and I would pull the trigger.
Yep.
So, and then after that, talking to friend Nat, who is still working in the industry. He's worked on a couple of Fast and Furious movies. He's worked on a couple of John Wick movies. He's done a lot.
You know Dean Winchester's is on this movie set at the same time,
and
right?
You know he's handled a lot of prop guns, and
so there was a lot of fun. He had a little fun gag before we get into this because I thought that was hilarious. So he went in and the armorer asked him, "Do you know how to use a gun?" He said, "A little."
Have you never watched Supernatural?
Yeah, right. That's what I was like, I don't think she watches TV.
Like, literally,
he was like,
go on Netflix and you can find any random episode.
Well, she walked him through how to load the gun safety, hammer back, pull trigger. So they're like, "Oh, do you want to do straight draw or cross draw?" He's like, "Oh, cross draw." And he did a fancy fucking shot, and she goes, "You're an asshole," and then walked away from him. I said, for a guy who has voiced Batman and Red Hood and played Dean Winchester, I could not imagine another person being that much of an asshole. That is great. Just like that blue dinosaur in your hand. But that's the thing is she knew what she was doing.
Thing is, did she might have known how the guns function, but
there was a crew swap out last minute too on this very same day, though.
Right. Yeah.
The crew that originally was there walked.
Right.
And then they had to get a quick scab crew together.
But this armor was 24 years old. Doesn't mean she doesn't know how to handle a firearm, but the question is not just handle a firearm, but the safety of handling.
Yeah.
So, like I said, there's a lot of safety protocols in place. Like I mentioned that one. The other one is any firearm that is fireable is supposed to be locked up, and only the armorer has the key to unlock it.
Yep.
So, come to find out, the crew, I haven't read which of the crew yet. Maybe you have.
They came out and said that they were arguing against it, that they didn't get those guns out for late night target practice.
Okay.
They come out and said it. I can't say whether that they've proven that or not yet.
Well, somehow a live round, which is not supposed to be on set, got in there. And one of the reports that I saw said that they were late night target practicing with them.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well,
So-
also one of the producers brought the ammo, but didn't have them separate. So he came in with ammo that was blank and live, all in the same bucket, and they were all stored together.
God. That is so awful.
You
There's so
don't
many fuck
do
ups
that.
here. There's so many fuck ups here. Okay, so we got that. Now, when you pull that gun out, you're supposed to have 2 people watching you load that. So 3 people are supposed to check it, make sure that there's nothing in there. Then 2 people watch the armor load it with the blanks.
Yep.
And the person, it's supposed to be the armor that takes it and hands it to the actor. In this case, it was the first assistant director that she laid out 3 firearms, 3 pistols. He grabbed one and said, "I'll take this one," the first assistant director, and walked on set. He was yelling cold gun. Cold gun means there is nothing in the cylinders.
Yeah.
A hot gun meant that there was something in the cylinders, either a live round or a blank. My son, who is 10 years old, I took him out shooting, and I made sure to tell him, anytime I hand you a gun, we are both going to check it. I'm going to check it, and you are going to check it before you take it from me. And we both say cold gun before I hand it to you. Then you put the rounds in, and then you say hot gun.
Yep.
That way, everybody around you knows that that gun can kill.
Yep.
Okay, so the assistant director came onto set yelling cold gun to everyone, handed it to Baldwin. Baldwin, they did a straight on what we call Z-axis shot, where shots where he's basically pointing directly at the camera.
Yep.
Usually it's like right off to the side because they don't look straight into the camera. They look like off to the corner of the camera.
Yeah. Off to one of the corners.
Right off to that corner was the cinematographer, and right behind the cinematographer was the director. The live round fired, went through the cinematographer into the director. Cinematographer died. Director survived. Critically injured. Here's the 911 call.
We've had 2 people accidentally shot on a movie set by a prop gun. We need help immediately. Okay. Bonanza Creek Ranch. Come on.
Stay on the phone with me. We're going to get some help, okay?
We need some help. Our director and our camerawoman has been shot.
So was it loaded with a real bullet or one?
I cannot tell you that.
Okay.
We have 2 injuries from a movie gun shot.
Okay. We're getting them out there already. Just stay on the phone with me. Okay?
This f***ing AD that yelled at me at lunch because asking about revisions. This motherfucker. Did you see him lean over my table and yell at me? He's supposed to check the guns. He's responsible for what happened in the
company. Now, Mimi?
No. I'm a script supervisor.
How many people are injured?
2 that I know of.
Okay. So
And she was pissed.
Oh yeah.
She was pissed.
So when this first broke, I was having a hard time on Facebook and other places arguing with people that were blaming for firing that.
Yeah.
My view is it's not his fault for firing, because as an actor, they're not checking the firearms. Could you imagine John Wick if
Oh my
Keanu Reeves
God.
had to check every single firearm before? No. you trust that the protocols are in place and that they're handing you a firearm that is safe to use as an actor. Just like when I get my tires changed or rotated, I trust that they bolt them down all the way.
Yeah.
That is the people, in my opinion, liable for this are the prop master, because the prop master is supposed to be one of the people that check, the armorer, and that assistant director. Those are the three people that were supposed to check it beforehand. That being the case, that's criminal liability, in my opinion. That being the case, Baldwin is the executive producer of the company that is shooting the film.
Yes.
So he is still liable in that sense, in my opinion, because he did not put the right people with the right training. It would be like, if somebody at your company, again, using the car analogy, if somebody at your at your tire company, you hired them and they were putting wheels on cars and just hand tightening the lug nuts on, that company and that owner would also be liable, not just. So I think civilly he's liable, in my opinion, but criminally, I am not a fan of Baldwin. I never liked him. I think he's gotten worse since he got into politics, or started being political, should I say. But as an actor, I would give him a pass on this. And I feel bad for him that he was the one that pulled the trigger, because everyone goes, well, you never point a gun at somebody, and all that. And you try explaining to people, this is not real life. This is a movie set. You can't not. If somebody hands an actor a firearm, they are believing that it's been triple checked and it's safe. And either it's a dummy firearm or it's cold and it's safe to use. And that's my opinion on it.
No, I agree. My thing is, in the conspiracy theory side of me, Helena Hutchinson, who's the one who died. There wasn't the only movie she was working on. So supposedly, because her fucking Twitter's gone, Twitter fucking erased her account with haste after her death, stating that she has evidence against Hillary Clinton because she was working on a documentary of pedophilia in Hollywood and was able to link the Clinton Foundation to it. That went out on October 18th. I don't think it's suspicious whatsoever. The next week she was dead. And they used Alec Baldwin as a scapegoat.
Kind of like the people that commit suicide by shooting against the Clintons, that commit suicide by shooting themselves in the back of the head.
Yeah. I mean, look at Jeffrey Epstein. He didn't kill himself. He was murdered.
Yeah, it just so happens the cameras went out for that 7 minutes.
Right. And the guards were gone.
Yeah.
They went on a 2-hour lunch break. Yeah, whatever. I'm sorry. I wish I don't believe Alec Baldwin did anything wrong. I won't say that he did. I believe he was just doing his job and he was doing as he was told. whether he realized there was a live round in the gun or not is what this is. He didn't know, so he wouldn't think to know. He was told, "Hey, it was a cold gun. It was either going to be a blank bullet that came out or fucking air." So he would never to expect a live round, and you know damn well he's not allowed to talk, and that's what's
No, I'm
and
sure
you know
he's
he's
got a gag order on.
yeah, he is probably as devastated as anybody, because for as funny as he is, I don't think he would wish anybody dead. And and that's the thing. It's like the fact that they're using him this way. If this is how this is, there has to be some recourse, hopefully eventually, for all this time being tied together somehow and all. But Alec Baldwin did not intended to go there to shoot anybody with a live round.
No.
I want to make that I just want to make that perfectly clear. What happened was a mistake that there are procedures in place for. The ultimate question is who the middle person was handling
Who
with
put
the
that
gun.
round in there?
That
How
is
did
the
that
ultimate
round get
question.
in there?
Who put it in? And because nobody's talking. So, but we actually made it through a show without fucking completely derailing. That's awesome.
Yeah, I think we hit every one of our. Definitely didn't go in order, but
No. Oh, order's never been our strong suit. We just have an issue of getting what's actually what we want to talk about actually out there. But we always, anybody that listens, we appreciate you. This is all about a conversation, never about a fight. So if you ever have questions, ask them. If you want to ever debate. That's what we're here for. That's the whole purpose of this. It's the reason why I felt like doing it. I know that's why Jason did it. It's gotten to the point to where I've noticed a lot of younger audience, a lot of younger people are giving into this socialism. The thing is,
I don't know if I'd call it so much socialism from my viewpoint, but authoritarianism.
They're believing the government is there to help them. That is, we have rules in place to know that, as you heard in the original clip, that's from a very old movie from '93. And it's the exact truth. The Constitution was written by a bunch of people with roundabout ways to correct things or to change things, but never to make anybody a king in this country. The United States was a test. You have a clip for Joe Rogan that he says this, right?
Yeah, I played it earlier during the break, but I can play it again if you'd like.
Yeah. Yeah, play it again real quick.
Okay.
As soon as you give politicians power, any kind of power that didn't exist previously, if they can figure out a way to force you into carrying something that lets you enter businesses or lets you do this or lets businesses open, historically, they are not going to give that power up. They find new reasons to use it.
I'll be back.
We have to protect those freedoms at all costs, whether you agree with people's choices or not, because it is the foundation that this country was founded on. Freedom. This idea of freedom, there's so many people that think it's frivolous, it's not important, it's not the main thing that we should be focused on, but it is the literal structure that allows this country to be so fucking amazing. every single country that's ever existed other than the United States. Up until 1776, every fucking country that has ever existed was run by dictators. All of them. This is the first experiment in self-government that actually worked, and it created the greatest superpower the world's ever known. It created the greatest cultural machine, the greatest machine of art and creativity and innovation right fucking here. And how did it do that? It did it through freedom. And as soon as you see something, anything that comes along and inhibits your freedom, you should be very cautious about that. You should be very suspicious. Because anything that comes along that can inhibit your freedom is, by definition, anti-American.
Yeah, he's absolutely right.
So the thing is America's not perfect. It never will be. It never was. But if you're gonna make
was not intended to.
mistakes, right? If you're gonna make mistakes, mistake on the side of freedom. That everyone last year was blaming Trump for not doing anything with COVID. He may have made a mistake, but he was making the mistake on the side of freedom, of not locking people down, of not locking people down endlessly, not forcing masks, not forcing vaccines.
No, yeah. Trump was allowing the individual states to make those choices. He was stating, hey, we're here if you need help. But handle it the way you feel that you believe you can do best. That's why you see states like New York, Michigan, Pennsylvania, Jersey, California follow these one suits, and then you have all like Texas, Florida, Louisiana, Carolinas, Tennessee, Kentucky, all do it a different way, or the mid states do it a different way.
Blue states,
it was
and
all
red
they
states
looked at it. Okay, what works best for our state? And that was the greatest thing. Like, for an example, New York said, we need help. Trump sent National Guard to create a 1,000-man MASH unit in Central Park. Sent the USS Mercy that can hold another 10,000 people, and the Navy that vessels that ship as backup staff to help take care. Sent the USS Hope to California for the same thing. The governor's like, oh, we asked for help. Oh, wait. Never mind. We don't want this help. You're giving us too much great help.
He ramped up production of medical devices.
Operation Warp Speed.
Operation Warp Speed for vaccines. Again, we're talking about the problems with the vaccines, but he did what the federal government, which is we're here to back up the people and the states, not to control them. This administration, and you heard it from Biden multiple times, he said it with the first responders clip that I played. I didn't talk about vaccine mandates until July because I tried it other ways and the other ways weren't working. Well, you know what? Then you keep trying it other ways. You don't control people. That's not what America is. America is not.
I feel like I need my my band with the Star of David here on my arm. That's a World War II joke.
But I mean, think about this. In many places, New York, California, if you're vaccinated, you can go into a restaurant without wearing a mask. You can go shopping without wearing a mask. But
you have to show your card. You have to show your card every time. You have to have it on you.
If you're not vaccinated, you have to have a mask on. What's that mask? That mask is no different than the star.
Yeah.
It's showing people that you're not vaccinated, that you're the other.
Yep. Well, there's a restaurant chain out in California being shut down for only takeout only now because they won't check the vaccination. Yeah, In-N-Out Burger. In-N-Out is
Which I when they were in Oregon, they weren't great. They were okay. They were good. I mean, but
I was never a big fan, and was like, whatever, cool, great. You have great burgers and fries, but they stood up to the mandate and said, "Fuck you."
well, they said we're not the vaccine police. We
Yeah,
put the sign up, but we're not going to card people because we're not the vaccine police. And there shouldn't be. You shouldn't have people standing at the doors of Walmart saying, "Show me your card" or "Put on a mask."
yeah,
Especially when we know that having the vaccine doesn't mean you're not going to get it or spread it.
yeah.
So again, in this time, people need to err on the side of freedom, because it's really easy right now to justify controlling somebody else, not even just controlling somebody else in the name of safety and fear. You can do anything in the name of safety and fear. Heck, we can say you can only drive 20 miles an hour, and that'll save how many car accidents a year?
I mean, you could be in the Jimmy Carter era, and you can only get gas on odd days if your license plate ends in a odd number.
But
Jimmy
need to-
Carter now has no longer the worst president of the United States. You guys realize this, right? Joe Biden has just beaten Jimmy Carter for shittiest president that
Yeah.
has ever held that office. Joe Pesci said it best. The president is a fucking bum, a paid elected bum. He is there
Really, the
because we allow
president-
him to be.
The president shouldn't have hardly any power. The reason that he can get away is because over so many years, our elected officials in Congress gave him a little bit here, a little bit there, and just kept giving him more and more
Yep.
power because they wanted to outsource their decisions to the executive branch. The executive branch is not supposed to be able to make any type of rules or laws. They're only supposed to be the police of the laws. They're supposed to be the ones that the Congress makes the laws, the executive branch implements how they're made.
So, I mean, I hope you guys understand. If you feel that we're wrong in any way, please tell us. I would love to see how we are wrong, and please cite your sources. That would be most helpful. I mean, if
All
you
right.
really want a good discussion, bring it, please. But
We'll even let you on the show. Sure, come on.
right, I have a well, to end the show, there's a clip that Bill Maher did from his show the other day. It really resonated with everything that's going on, because this is going to happen. The question is, how long will it take before it gets there if we let it?
How many times
You
can
want to go
poke
ahead
the
and
bear?
play it?
Yeah.
Hmm?
How many times can you poke the bear?
I don't
Americans
try to
must
poke
answer
a
the
bear more than
question
once.
posed on Twitter last week by Representative Marjorie Taylor Greene. Should America have a national divorce? But her question does represent the thinking of a lot of Americans on both sides. Ben Shapiro floated the idea that our best hope now is a friendly separation of states. 66% of Republicans in the South say they would support secession to join a new confederacy. 41% of Biden voters want to secede. Here's the answer many will not like. If we want to halt this descent into civil war, we have to stop hating each other. And the reason I say that many won't like that answer is because the act of hating people you don't exactly agree with has become so ingrained, so routine for so many people. I think if they stopped, they'd miss it. It's become so normalized now, we don't even notice how often someone online is wishing someone dead. Anyone we disagree with about anything is evil incarnate, and every argument goes from zero to homicide. Doesn't even have to be about anything important or consequential. You insulted Gossip Girl, prepare to die. There's a moment in my stand-up act these days where I ask the audience rhetorically, what should happen to all of the people who enabled Trump when he was in office? And about half the time, someone shouts out, kill them or hang them. You know, besides the fact that wishing people dead is a terrible place for your mind to be, if you're wishing them dead, you can be sure they're wishing you dead. You want a real war, liberals? Really? You think you're going to win the I want you dead war? You're not. You're going to lose. They have way more guns and they know how to use them. It's up to all of us, right, left, and center, to fix this by de-escalating. You want to heal America? Shut the fuck up. Shut the fuck up. Shut the fuck up. Shut the fuck up. Shut the fuck up.
So, ladies and gentlemen, that will conclude our day. So, always remember, check us out on firetalkradio.com. Or how to reach us, you can email us at firetalknetwork@gmail.com. Voicemail 814-380-9820. Check us out on Facebook, Fire Talk Radio. Send us carrier pigeon. Check us out on the stream under our contact page. You can pick whatever works for you between Spotify, iHeart, Stitcher, iTunes, Amazon, and more. And again, we got to come up with a plan. So, with that being said, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, it looks like we're coming into our destination. So, everyone, please buckle up, hold tight, just pray that we can land this on one engine. So, have a good night, all.